Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? Iran has successfully tested the S-300 missile defense system that they purchased from Russia about 2 or 3 years ago. I remember reporting on this when Russia said they were selling Iran these S-300 missile defense system. I remember covering it on YouTube and talking about it. Of course, that was even before President Obama went forward with the 6 superpowers to do this nuclear Iran nuke deal, allowing the Iranians the ability now to begin to participate in the nuclear arena. Prior to that, Russia had already said they were going to sell them these S-300 missiles, and they did. And now they successfully tested them. Why are they so concerned about it if you're Iran? Iran's concerned about a preemptive strike from Israel. Why? Because Iran constantly says they want to annihilate Israel from the face of the earth. And if they're working on nuclear capabilities, Israel may have to take matters into their own hands. Well, here's a report that has just come out. The Iran military has reportedly conducted successful tests of the Russian purchased S-300 anti-aircraft missile system. The news comes amid the ongoing tensions between Iran and Washington, and soon after President Donald Trump's pledge to get tough with Iran. Now, the test on effectiveness of the missile system against ballistic threats were conducted by Iran in its drilled area. The drill was reportedly attended by a number of high-ranking military commanders and officials. The S-300 system was evaluated through simulated electronic warfare conditions and tested for its detection, identification, interception, and target shooting capabilities, according to the Tasman news agency. Also, the deal for the 5 Russian S-300 systems was struck back in 2007, but was later suspended after the adoption of the UN Security Council sanctions on Iran in the mid-2010. And I remember covering this because I just had started YouTube on March the 1st, 2010. Matter of fact, Iran eventually reached an international agreement in 2015, what we call the Iranian nuke deal, and vowed to limit its nuclear development program in exchange for the removal of crippling its economic sanctions that they've been receiving. It was around this time in April of 2015 that Russia resumed talks with Iran on delivering these S-300. And in December of 2016, Iran's ambassador in Moscow confirmed that Russia had executed the contract. Well, now Iran has them and has tested them, and it works. So if the nation of Israel is thinking about preemptive striking some of the Iranian nuclear complexes to try to stop them from being able to actually develop the bomb, it will be a little bit more difficult because the S-300 missile defense system is now in play. The whole world continues. And of course, you know, when I had my dream back in 2013, when I was in Jerusalem and I had this dream where I saw Russian and Iranian planes bombing Israel, I actually wrote a book. It was so vivid. It was so real. I went to the Wailing Wall and prayed that morning and then went back to the hotel in Jerusalem and started typing and writing and wrote 17 chapters of the book that eventually became Jerusalem Jihad. And you can only find it. That book is only available at my website. It is so prophetic and so powerful. I even wrote in there that Pope Benedict would resign instead of dying, and that Rome would pick a new pope. Matter of fact, a lot of things in that book have come to pass. Well, we're living in a time like we've never seen before. We're living in the last days. We're certainly living in the last days. In my book, 2000, that I wrote in 2012, where I said that the Pope would resign, and that was actually in the Mark of the Beast RFID. That's Mark of the Beast RFID. That book I wrote that the Pope Benedict would resign and that there'd be a new pope. And then my sequel to that book, of course, Jerusalem Jihad, I see where Iran and Russia do attack Israel. How does this all play out? I don't know, but you can see all the pieces are on the table. We're truly living, folks, in the last days. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're in the final hour of time.